What's happening around the world and what's happening here at home?
A very good evening. You're watching Primetime News on TV1, bringing you the news. I'm Mariam Ganavijaya.
And I'm Sandra Ferdinando. Let's take a look at your headlines for tonight.
HRCSL highlights constitutional inconsistencies in Online Safety Act in letter to Speaker of Parliament. Sri Lanka, India to explore land connectivity. President tells Indian Ocean Conference. Minister Kanchana says Sri Lanka, India discuss oil pipeline. India's Amul eyes Sri Lankan livestock farms. Team in country for inspection. Harsha De Silva returns as Public Finance Committee Chair. Sarath Fonseca leads non-partisan protest. Independent candidates backed by jail. Imran Khan's PTI claim to win the general elections in Pakistan.
In sports, it's cricket. Pathum Nissanka became the first Sri Lanka batter to score a men's ODI double 100. Pathum Nissanka's 210 not out was the first ever double century for a Sri Lankan batter and was also the highest ever individual score for Sri Lanka in ODIs. He beat Sana Jayasuriya's 24-year-old record. Jayasuriya had scored 189 against India in Sharjah in 2000.
Nissanka walked out to open for Sri Lanka after his team was asked to bat by the Afghanistan skipper Hashmatullah Shahidi. His start was far from perfect and the batter took his time to settle in. However, the batter went for the big shots after getting his eye in. He added 182 runs for the opening wicket for Avishka Fernando and didn't relent after his partner fell in the 27th over. Nissanka reached his 100 in the 32nd over, taking 88 balls to get there. Sri Lanka skipper Kusal Mendis scored 16 runs. In the last 18 overs, Nissanka slammed 110 runs. He took merely 48 balls to reach his double ton after crossing his century, smashing 24s and 8 sixes. With his help, Sri Lanka reached 381 for the loss of 3 wickets in 50 overs. Pathum Nissanka's 210 was the first ever double century for a Sri Lanka batter and was also the highest ever individual score for Sri Lanka in ODIs. He beat Sana Jayasuriya's 24-year-old record. Jayasuriya had scored 189 against India in Sharjah in 2000.
Chasing 382 runs to win, Afghanistan were 152 for 5 after 28 overs. Moving on to more news, Human Rights Commission of Sri Lanka highlighted constitutional inconsistencies in the Online Safety Act that was recently passed in the Parliament.
The Human Rights Commission of Sri Lanka has expressed deep concern about the potential non-compliance of recently enacted Online Safety Act with the Supreme Court's determination. In a letter to the Speaker of Parliament, the HRCSL highlighted that the Supreme Court had identified over 30 clauses and omissions in the original Online Safety Bill that were inconsistent with the Constitution. While the court allowed Parliament to proceed with the bill after incorporating specific amendments, the HRCSL's review of the enacted Act suggests these changes may not have been fully implemented. The Commission emphasizes that enacting legislation without addressing the court's concerns raises serious questions about the Act's compliance with the Constitution, particularly regarding fundamental rights protections. The letter expresses unease over the possibility that the Act may have been passed with a simple majority, despite requiring a special majority due to the inconsistencies with the Constitution. It added that the precise wording of the Supreme Court with regard to certain clauses are not reflected in the Act, while some clauses that were recommended to be deleted from the bill remain in the Act. The HRCSL stressed that full compliance with the court's determination on a bill is therefore crucial to guaranteeing the fundamental rights of the people of Sri Lanka.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe has announced the commencement of a feasibility study for a land link between India and Sri Lanka. Speaking at the inauguration of the Indian Ocean Summit in Perth, Australia, President Wickremesinghe said that the proposed land connectivity would leverage the strategic locations of the Sri Lankan ports of Colombo and Trincomalee, transforming them into regional hubs for trade.
The 7th Indian Ocean Conference opened in Perth, Australia with President Ranil Wickremesinghe, Indian External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar among others gracing the event. Prior to the opening gala, the President, Dr. Jaishankar, as well as Minister for Foreign Affairs Singapore, Vivian Balakrishnan, attended panel discussion.
Now, I mentioned the word choke points because if you fast forward to today and what is happening in the Red Sea and the stuff that the Houthis have been lobbing at ships, it's a stark reminder that choke points exist and continue to be salient for the Indian Ocean. And last year, I should add, we actually had a record year for our port. We, I think, we dealt with 39 million TEUs of containers last year. For those of you who are in shipping industry, you know this is a very big number. So when Singapore says, well, maritime shipping is important, I hope you understand it's not a debating or political point. It's our lifeblood. The moment a ship leaves Perth or Colombo or Mumbai or Singapore, that ship does not have to seek permission from anyone or pay rental to anyone to decide where it's going to call, wherever it is in the world. That is the legal and economic significance of freedom of navigation. Final point to remember is that if you think about the history of the Pacific Ocean and the Indian Ocean, one fortunate thing that has not yet happened in the Indian Ocean is that we haven't had an all-out naval carrier-based battle as opposed to what happened in the Pacific Ocean in the Second World War.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe emphasized the importance of regional cooperation for shared prosperity and security.
I was just talking with Dr. Balakrishnan, and we said there was no carrier battles in the Indian Ocean for the simple reason the Japanese sank the only British carrier. The Indian Ocean is a multipolar and has resisted domination by a single power. The multipolarity is a reflection of the essence of the Indian Ocean region and its people. The past 2 decades has seen the emergence of diverse framings of the Indian Ocean region and a flurry of diplomatic activity articulating various policy positions, tilts and frameworks. What is clear is that no single objective geopolitical construct has emerged, and we are left instead with a contested vision with multiple interpretations. We have also seen an increased militarization of the Indian Ocean, which is redefining power balances and alliances. In the maritime space, we see a building up in naval capabilities with India, USA, Australia, UAE, Saudi Arabia and China, all increasing their naval presence significantly. Therefore, balancing between the great power rivalry is becoming an increasingly more complex task. As a result, the space of maneuverability for littoral states is shrinking fast as this rivalry in the Indian Ocean region intensifies and spills over into decision making on political, economic and security issues. The probable question to choose one over the other is perennially hanging over us. We need to refocus on the freedom of navigation in the Indian Ocean. Sri Lanka offers to recommence the discussions on the freedom of navigation in this ocean. India and Sri Lanka are commencing feasibility studies on land connectivity between the 2 countries, making Sri Lanka a regional logistic hub with Colombo and Trincomalee ports available to South India.
A Chinese research vessel which had been denied permission to enter the exclusive economic zone of the Sea of Sri Lanka remains actively engaged in scientific research and observation within the area. As of 3:30 p.m. local time today, The vessel was observed sailing southward toward the Maldives at a steady speed of 30 nautical miles per hour.
The presence of a Chinese research vessel, Xiangyang Hong 3, has ignited a fresh wave of diplomatic discussions between India and China concerning Sri Lanka. India has expressed concern over the repeated incursions of Chinese research ships into the Sea of Sri Lanka, deeming them a threat to its security. In response, the Sri Lankan government enacted a one-year ban on research vessels from all nations conducting research within its territorial waters. Despite the ban, the Chinese government formally requested permission to deploy the research ship Xiangyang Hong 3 for research activities in the Sea of Sri Lanka. The ban was imposed when the vessel was ready to depart from its home port. The Chinese vessel, which departed from Sanya port in China on the 16th of last month, altered its course. Instead of heading directly to Sri Lanka, it set to sights on the Maldives. As of yesterday, the Xiangyang Hong 3 remains in close proximity to the Sri Lankan sea border, engaged in undisclosed investigation of surveillance activities. The area within 200 nautical miles from Sri Lanka's southern coast falls under the country's exclusive economic zone. The Chinese vessel's actions skirt the limits of this zone. Adding to the complexity, an Indian Navy submarine arrived in Colombo last Saturday, greeted with naval courtesies. India views this as a strategic victory. Chinese media outlets counter India's claim, asserting that India's pressure on Sri Lanka is not a victory but rather a source of embarrassment.
Diplomatic discussions have intensified as India and Sri Lanka engage in negotiations regarding a significant infrastructure project. The proposed multi-product oil pipeline aims to connect the India's Nagapattinam to Sri Lanka's Trincomalee oil tank farm.
On the sidelines of the India Energy Week, Sri Lanka's Power and Energy Minister Kanchana Wijesekara had a meeting with Indian Oil Company yesterday. The minister took to X and said that they discussed the proposal by the Indian government through IOC for a multi-product oil pipeline connecting Nagapattinam, Trincomalee tank farm and Colombo. He added that technical studies demand market analysis, financial analysis and business models will be conducted to decide on the mechanism of the project. The minister added that they also discussed about the investment and expansion of projects under the joint venture in Trincomalee Tank Farm, CPSTL and Lanka IOC retail operations. Also taking to X, Minister Kanchana Wijesekara said that the progress of the Sampur ground mount solar project of the Trincomalee Power Company Limited or TPCSL, the joint venture between NTPC of India and CEB, were discussed during the Indian Energy Week. He said that the chairman of NTPC of India also expressed interest in wind and floating solar project investments in Sri Lanka.
India's leading dairy cooperative Amul is reportedly exploring a joint venture in Sri Lanka's dairy production sector. Representatives from the company are currently inspecting farms belonging to the National Livestock Development Board.
The National Livestock Development Board said that a delegation of India's Amul company arrived in Sri Lanka to conduct inspections of farms owned by it, and the inspections began yesterday. The National Livestock Development Board owns 31 farms spanning over 28,000 acres of land. As part of the leasing process, the board has initiated an appraisal of the farm's value. Approximately 80% of these land value assessments have been completed to date. In addition to the land, the Animal Production and Health Department has evaluated the value of the animals residing on these farms. The National Livestock Development Board has confirmed that this report has been submitted to the President's office. This development follows a recent agreement between India and Sri Lanka aimed at promoting the liquid milk industry in Sri Lanka. As per the agreement, the farms owned by the National Livestock Development Board are planned to be leased to Amul of India. The milk brand Amul's full form is Anand Milk Union Limited, formed by the Gujarat Milk Marketing Federation based in Anand, Gujarat. This cooperative oversees 3.6 million milk producers. The company boasted an annual sales turnover of $6.5 billion in 2022.
India's Amul is in Sri Lanka for talks with NLDB and Milko. We have not reached any agreement and the process is supervised by the President's office. If these are leased, it will be subject to the government evaluation on the investment. In addition, the Highland and Milko brands will not be replaced and they will not bring Indian dairy products to be sold here. They are to invest 1,500 million rupees in the country. If such an investment is to go ahead, it will be subject to the condition of ensuring that worker rights are protected with zero layoffs.
In a significant development, Anura Kumar Dissanayake, the leader of the Jatika Jana Balavega in Sri Lanka, along with the delegation recently visited the Amul Dairy factory located in the state of Gujarat, India. Amul Dairy posted on X noting that there were some illuminating discussions on a joint venture between Sri Lanka, India's National Dairy Development Boards and Amul, where India's National Dairy Development Boards and Amul will help to improve the productivity of the Sri Lankan dairy system, modernize Sri Lanka's dairy plants and scale up milk production. The post added that the Sri Lankan delegation commenced the operations of Amul Dairy and the impact of the Amul model on the entire ecosystem of dairying.
India's leading dairy cooperative Amul is reportedly exploring a joint venture in Sri Lanka's dairy production sector. Representatives from the company are currently inspecting farms belonging to the National Livestock Development Board. And a delegation from the Jatika Jana Balavega, led by party leader Anura Kumar Dissanayake, is currently on an official visit to India. And the delegation met with the State Minister of Industries in Thiruvananthapuram today.
The delegation from the Jatika Jana Balavega, led by party leader Anura Kumar Dissanayake, visited the state of Kerala, where power is held by leftist movements, on the final day of their 5-day visit to India. The delegation met with the Minister of Industries, Sri P. Rajiv, today. The delegation then visited the Vikram Sarabhai Space Centre of India on an observation tour.
JJB MP Dr. Harinya Amarasuriya clarified the facts regarding Anura Kumar Disanayake's visit to India in Parliament today.
There are multiple opinions raised in Sri Lanka about our leader, MP Anura Kumar Dissanayake, and our team's recent visit to India at the invitation of the Indian government. Some political parties claim that President Ranil Wickremesinghe played a role in facilitating this visit. However, I want to clarify that this invitation was directly extended to the Jatika Jana Balavega by the Indian government. This visit was a significant opportunity for our party. It is no secret that the Jatika Jana Balavega stands to gain international recognition and strengthen our country's international relations through this. It is important to address rumors being circulated by certain individuals. JJB is a political movement that adapts to the evolving global political landscape. We believe in progress and understand the limitations of clinging to outdated approaches.
Study in Australia with Edlocate. Speak directly with university representatives, including the highest ranked group of 8 universities in Australia, on 10th February 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Hotel Galadari. Scholarships up to 100%. Pre-register with us by calling 077 177 0361.
Continuing in more local news, MP Mahinda Nanayakkara renewed his accusations against finance ministry officials, alleging that they provide inaccurate data. He made these claims during a press conference held in Kandy today. Many believe the finance ministry holds the key to resolving this crisis. However, if it cannot shoulder this responsibility, what recourse do the people have? Tax relief could have offered some alleviation for their hardships. The finance secretary himself contacted me today, proposing a meeting to discuss the issue. He acknowledged that this situation has persisted for years and recognized the need for action. The president did not spread in misinformation. He initially printed a book based on data provided by the Ministry of Finance, but chose not to distribute it. Instead, he released a revised version after correcting inaccuracies in it. This is a serious issue. There's a discrepancy in expected tax revenue from the Petroleum Corporation. The CPC forecast 11 billion rupees of direct tax originally forecast per month, but the actual figure reached 20.5 billion, exceeding expectations by 9 billion. Concerns exist about potential VAT fraud. Unethical companies import goods while promising customs authorities a 300 billion rupee payment to avoid temporary VAT. However, the Income Tax Department is inactive in stopping this. If the temporary VAT loophole were closed, it could potentially eliminate the need for the petroleum excise tax. Based on this information, we urge the President to exercise caution and investigate potential discrepancies. Immediate action is necessary.
Opposition leader SJ Premadasa demanded answers in Parliament today, questioning why the government is withholding the assessment report on the proposed privatisation of Sri Lanka Telecom and Sri Lanka Insurance.
Sri Lanka Telecom.
Which companies have submitted bids for investment in shares of Sri Lanka Telecom? What are the qualifications considered in submitting these bids? Has Sri Lanka Insurance leased a property in Kinsey Road, Borella? Has the building been acquired according to the procurement method? We are told that the value of Visumpaya is Rs 8 billion, but it is believed to be sold for half the value of Rs 4 billion.
8 billion. Then විකුණන්න හදනවලු 4 billion වලට. ව්‍යාපාර ප්‍රතිෝගත කරන්නේදී රජය හැම විට.
Regarding the restructuring of state enterprises, the government is committed to maximum transparency throughout the process. National security and employee well-being are also paramount concerns. We are actively working on a comprehensive report on the issues that were raised, and it will be submitted soon.
Geo Platforms Limited, Gochun International Investment Holding Limited.
It was reported in the media that Geo Platforms and China's GoTune submitted their bids. Can the government provide information with regard to that? I would like to know if these names were released by the restructuring unit, and if so, was it done without any valuation? Why isn't the SLT valuation report withheld from the House? Why can't you respond to my questions?
valuation report එකයි සභාගත කරන්නේ නැත්තේ. ඇයි මේ මං අහපු ප්‍රශ්න වලට උත්තර දෙන්න බැරි? ප්‍රශ්නෙන් භාගයකට පිළිතුරු දීම නෙවෙයි අපේ වගකීම අවශ්‍යතාවය.
Our duty is not to provide half-baked answers. We need to respond to every lengthy query you raised, and we need time. With regard to the issue of Visumpaya, the chairman was contacted. We will not go below the offer. An investor came forward via a chartered valuer. However, there was a threefold difference between the valuation of the chartered valuer and the Department of Valuation. Their value is less and the government's value was high. We focused on that and wrote the Department of Valuation for the need for more consultations. We have given 6 more months for that. A major racket is in play along with the diverse process. One is the SLT racket and the other is the SLIC racket. They are working on Visumpaya as well. There is a person from Kandy who is working on those rackets. Dr. Harsha De Silva has been reappointed as the chairman of the Committee on Public Finance. The announcement was made by Speaker Mahinda Nanayakkara during the Parliament session today.
This reappointment comes in the wake of the recent prorogation announced by the President, which resulted in the dissolution of existing parliamentary committees. As the new session begins, key positions like the Finance Committee Chair require fresh appointments.
We need to bring forward many financial acts and amendments. We will continue with the work that was stalled. The Finance Ministry was informed to update on the delays. We will probe the sugar tax scam and probe whether those who benefited were even taxes. The gaming regulation is also stalled. We are told that the private creditors are noting that they will not allow for the third tranche to be released if the government fails to reach an agreement with them. We have ordered the Finance Ministry to update us on that. I am happy to retain this post. The committee will move forward.
A protest was held in Mathura today under the leadership of Chairman of Samagi Jana Balawegya, Field Marshal MP Sarath Fonseca.
The protest, themed Unarmed, Non-Partisan Struggle Led a People's Revolution, was organized opposite the Mathura bus stand. The group protested against corrupted political culture, repressive policies and tax policies of the government.
People should come together to change the corrupt political culture. People need to rethink afresh. People should make commitments for new system of politics. If they do not do so and bring change to the country, the children of the country will have no future. I am doing party politics with SJB. Party politics should exist for the democracy, parliament and constitution to exist. But people here are not doing party politics. They are rather trying to give a message to the people of the country by being unbiased. Yes, we meet at the parliament once in a while. He is the Minister of Finance and I went to the Finance Ministry for some related work. We did not speak regarding politics. That is to be asked from him. Nobody has informed me anything. Nobody has said anything against me regarding such a charge.
State Minister of Finance Shehan Semasinghe says that Sri Lanka is facing a rise in non-performing loans.
State Minister of Finance Shehan Semasinghe said that Sri Lanka's banking system is facing a growing challenge with non-performing loans rising to 13%. The minister highlighted the concerns, emphasising his focus on developing a program to address this issue.
Non-performing loans have increased to 13%, and this is not only at state banks. That is a dark side of the economic crisis. We hope to enter into a program with the Asian Development Bank to support the small and medium businesses. In addition, the Finance Ministry would step in so that they can re-engage in their businesses. In addition, the government is also supporting the agricultural sector. We have stopped the collapse of the economy and it is being stabilized.
Peter Wright Family Fun Fair 2024, 10th February from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. at St. Peter's College, Colombo 4. Peter Wright Family Fun Fair 2024.
The Sri Lankan music scene witnessed a momentous occasion today with the launch of the Shakti Crown, a brand new reality show aiming to showcase the nation's finest vocal talent on an international stage.
Held at the state-of-the-art Stein Studios in Ratmalana, the inaugural event marked the beginning of a unique musical journey that promises to elevate Sri Lankan voices to new heights.
Your singing talent, can you sing?
Well, I've won like 7 Grammys, but at home, I don't sing that much.
Whoa.
Well, today, of course, I'm definitely not going to sing. You know why? Because I see a lot of happy faces here. I don't want to make them sad.
Shakti Crown.
A new dawn broke from Sri Lankan music today as the highly anticipated reality show Shakti Crown unveiled its grand launch at the renowned Stein Studios in Ratmalana. This unique venture, a collaboration between media powerhouses Stein Studios and M Entertainment, promises to be a game changer, propelling Sri Lankan singing stars above the age of 15 onto the international stage. Beyond the glitters and glamour, Shakti Crown is driven by a singular mission: to unearth and amplify the nation's hidden vocal gems. Each meticulously crafted episode will serve as a platform for these talented individuals to showcase their artistry and captivative audience around the world.
Looks like we made it. Look how far we've come, my baby. No matter to the low way, we knew we'd get there someday. They said I did.
The senior management of the Capital Maharaja Group, MTV MBC Network, among others, were present for the launch. Group Director of the Capital Maharaja Group, Shevan Daniel, also spoke at the launch.
Because it unites Sri Lanka's largest television network
MTV, Sri Lanka's largest radio network MBC, Sri Lanka's largest music label M Entertainment, and South Asia's largest studio complex, Stein Studios. And what that basically means is this incredibly large network, let's not even call it a network, let's call it an opportunity for you, Sri Lankans, young and old, wherever you might be, use this opportunity to shine, to win, to succeed.
Murugesu Kulendran, director of Shakti TV, spoke at the event.
In the past 25 years, Shakti TV has provided many programs, and through these programs we have given the opportunity to many citizens. But this time it is different. This time we bring an international level program to the people. Particularly, this program is produced by the Stein Studios Ratmalana. There is no doubt in saying that Shakti Crown will be produced in international standards. For such a brilliant program, we need to thank former chairman, the late R. Raja Mahendran. He is the reason for the success of all these efforts for the past 25 years.
The highlight of the night was the announcement of a partnership with M Entertainment, a leading force in the music industry, offering participating stars a unique opportunity to shine on an international stage. The enthusiasm is palpable among aspiring singers who eagerly await their chance to impress. Following the successful initial voice test in Colombo, auditions will now embark on a 13-day journey across 11 major cities starting tomorrow in Puttlam. Aspiring singers from Vaunia, Mana, Jaffna, Trincomalee, Batticaloa, Kandy, Hatton, Marthalee, Deniaya and finally Stein Studios Ratmalana will have the chance to showcase their talent. The sponsors of Shakti Crown, CBL Munshi, Glow and Lovely, Eva, Medoli, Sunsilk, Hutch and Nippon Paint Sri Lanka were among those present as well. Get ready, Sri Lanka! Shakti Crown is poised to unleash your hidden vocal talents and crown them on the international stage. Are you ready to shine?
Shakti Crown.
Independent candidates backed by former Prime Minister Imran Khan's party lead as Pakistan announces election results. Independent candidates backed by imprisoned former Prime Minister Imran Khan were leading Pakistan's national election results today, a day after sporadic violence allegations of a preordained outcome and a cell phone service shutdown overshadowed the vote. Of the 122 National Assembly results announced by the country's election oversight body after an hours-long delay, candidates backed by Khan's Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf party have won 49 seats. It's a surprise given claim by the imprisoned Khan, his supporters and a national rights body of a pre-poll rigging and manipulation. The Pakistan's Muslim League party of three-time former Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif had 39 seats, while the Pakistan's People's Party of political dynasty Sion Bilawal Bhutto Azardari had 30. All results are expected by tonight.
Study in Australia with Adlocate. Speak directly with university representatives including the highest ranked group of 8 universities in Australia on 10th February 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Hotel Galadari. Scholarships up to 100%. Pre-register with us by calling 077 177 0361.
For years, the people of the Nagavila village in Puttlam toiled under the weight of a critical burden, a lack of clean drinking water. But hope arrived with Gamadda recognizing the dire situation and stepping in to tackle the long-standing issue that had plagued their community. 470 families in the Nagavila village, the heart of Sri Lanka's rice-growing region, faced a harsh reality. Their thirst for clean water could only be quenched with money. A once proud water distribution project built years ago at great expense now stands idle, a stark symbol of broken promises. Partnering with Next to Manufacturing Private Limited, Gamadda embarked on a mission to quench Nagavila's thirst, not with money, but with a sustainable solution, a water purification system.
Today, the foundation stone was laid, marking the beginning of a new era for the village. David Ray, Director of Manufacturing at Next Manufacturing Private Limited, its General Manager for Human Resources Bharathamra Singha, Parliament Divisional Secretary Lakshma Dimutkumari, Gammadda General Secretary Prasanna Korla, Parliament Acting OIC WDB Fonseca, Lieutenant Commander AMRP Alahakun, among others, were present at the event.
It's something that we, in the Western world, we take very, very much for granted, that we've got access pretty much all of the time to what is a very, very valuable but a very, very basic resource. So being given the opportunity to provide such a basic resource to the people of the local area, working very closely in association with our premier sort of sponsors at Gamada, we're very, very happy to commence this project. And what I can honestly say is that I look forward to coming back in the not too distant future, the same as we did at our last water project, to take the first glass and share it with the people.
I extend my blessing and gratitude to Gammadda on behalf of the government and the government body. Given the situation in the country, your intervention should be appreciated.
The water purification system will be built with the expertise of the Sri Lankan Navy. Soon, this water purification system will become the village's own, unlocking a future free from thirst and hardship.
Gammadda, made in Sri Lanka.
Today marked day 6 of the Jala rally, a nationwide effort seeking to revitalize Sri Lanka's rich history of water management and the ancient cascade systems. This nationwide initiative is organized by the Sirasa Media Network.
Jala rally.
The Jala rally was organized to gather water from the great irrigation tanks that nourish the paddylands in the country, as well as other water bodies, and will proceed to villages and towns across to bless the nation and her people. The Jala rally ignites a spark of ancestral memory, reminding the use of the unbreakable bond woven into the fabric of our being between our people and the water. Yesterday, water was obtained from the Kantale Valley, and the water was placed on the special platform of the Jala rally following ancient traditions. In addition, water was also obtained from the Taudas Valley. This morning, the Jala rally commenced its journey from the Kantale town in the presence of a large local gathering. Water obtained from various water bodies were also placed on the special platform of the Jala rally. Upon reaching Trincomalee, blessings were obtained from the Sri Bhadrakali Amman Kovil and Koneshwaran Kovil. The water collected from various water bodies will be carried to villages and towns by the Jala rally.
Jala rally.
And with that, we wrap up Primetime News for tonight.
Thank you very much for watching. Good night and take care.